Camera rolling. 3, 2, 1.
Action.
Welcome back to the 8 seconds crunchy.
We're seeing sort of robust demand in this ticket size of say between 2 to 5 crores.
Yeah.
There's very few large layouts left in South Bombay. So people want large layouts where they have open space.
I think people's mindset changed after COVID that let's do whatever we want to. I'm not going to wait 10 years to buy that property. I want it now.
So our prime asset that we have, our city mall, almost gets around 22 to 25,000 footfalls on a single day. In the US, for example, there's a metric of say almost there's 20 square feet of retail built already per person, whereas in India it's only 0.2. So whereas in the US there's a supply glut, in India there's actually a supply shortage of high quality grade A, and so you want your name to outlive your own existence.
Yes.
If you look at in the 15-20 years, land prices and home prices have gone have really tremendously increased, 8-10% CAGR, plus you get rental yield. In a long-term horizon, illiquid capital, real estate is a good bet.
Thank you for joining us, Saurabh. We're very excited for this episode, and we're going to talk a lot about luxury real estate and how you all have been here existing still with so much competition. So I think let's dive right through.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So to start with, I just want to know about how your journey been like. First of all, Runwal has been since decades, like half a decade, more than that.
Yeah.
So you entering and stepping in a legacy. How did your education, first of all, you've been to Ivy Leagues, Harvard, Stanford and everything. You have a lot of exposure. So how all of that helped you in stepping into this and, making it move forward? And how has your journey been so far?
Yeah, I mean, just to give a quick background on Runwal Group itself, it was started in 1978 by my grandfather, Saurabh Runwal. And it was more a fortuitous, encounter that happened. He wasn't associated with the industry before. A problem came up to him. He became an expert in, sort of land rules and regulation, and that sparked the business. And initially, in the first few years, it was one property, then another property. I think second generation, my dad and uncle both joined the business, and this was towards more around liberalization of the Indian economy, where we started getting some capital inflows, people's appetite for real estate actually improved, and that's when the business started taking off and the growth kicked in. Sort of seeing my grandfather and my father already having a certain set of knowledge base, like they're experts in land, regulation, and obviously business as well, but they've had a certain pedigree in India. They're both CAs, commerce. So I was like, for me to add value as a third generation, I don't want to just have the same mindset that they have. Otherwise, I would do more of the same, maybe slightly more efficiently. But how do I bring in a different perspective, a different lens to the business? And that was the broadest decision then we took as a family. I was actually studying for the IITs before. And then I said, no, I think I'll be boxed into my perspective of what I've learned here and what I'm seeing. So let me take a step out and try and bring that perspective here and see what new ideas I can bring in, what new thoughts can I learn about from the way things are being done sort of in the US, in like Columbia, Harvard. And I can talk more about those experiences, but yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about bringing new things in and whatever, can you just give for an example, what have you tried to implement that is more this generation and it has helped you all with your developments?
So the way I think about it is two things. One is obviously, I think as any third generation person that comes into the business, digital is always at the forefront. I think we've grown up digitally native. So we have an inkling of seamless customer experiences, which is obviously something that we are emphasizing on, and where we've actually onboarded a chief digital officer, a chief technology officer rather, for the company, and we've allocated capital to invest in digital initiatives across the customer value chain. So not only on seamless customer experience, but also on how do we become more efficient with actually delivering the product. So on construction excellence, construction management. So that's one bucket, which I wouldn't say is just unique to me. It's just a nature of me being in this generation that I bring.
Yeah.
The big unlock for me at business school was to some extent a change in management style as well. I think our parents' generation has been extremely hands-on and detail-oriented, and that is by far critical to understand the nuts and bolts of the business. That the first few years I'm just spending to understand the nuts and bolts, to know every single page of the DCPR. but as we think about scale, and becoming a pan-India player, how do you also find the right organizational tension between being plugged in, but also taking one step behind to allow more decentralized decision making. So I feel like a lot of decision making, still stops with us as promoters. But if you want to expand to multiple cities, you need to find the right tension between you as a leader making decisions and sort of your sub leaders making their own set of decisions. So yeah, this was one class I took, strategy execution, that had these sort of basic fundamentals of diagnostic measures, like what are some numbers and metrics that you can use to measure your success of the company, but also creating organizational tension between the two layers. So actually new ideas are coming from bottom up and not just my ideas are going, because I might not have the best ideas, but if I have the best team that can generate the best ideas, then I can have a competitive advantage.
Yeah. So how has it been till now? Like, are you enjoying it? Did you have this when you were studying that you'll go back and join your family business, or you had other plans?
Yeah, no, I always wanted to come back. I think the sense of ownership when you have your own business and, real estate, we're lucky enough to see our name everywhere on the buildings. There's a sense of pride and purpose that nothing else can give you. When you're working with someone else, you think of it as a job. When I'm working for myself, you'll
put everything in.
It's my everyday. Like I go to sleep thinking about ye karna chahiye tha, ya, I should have actually customer ke liye, how can I think better? How can we make our name stronger?
Yeah, it's like you're growing your own plants from the root, so you want to take care of it.
Absolutely. And it's a legacy. You don't want it to, you want it to outlive you. As human beings, we have this tendency, you want your name to outlive your own existence. And this allows me a platform to do that. So that's why, I wake up every day, Saturdays, Sundays also, I'm like, I want to go to work because I want to do the best I can for the brand we're building.
That's right. So your group's philosophy is quality on time, right?
Yeah.
Like we go through your website, everything, and you all have a good name in the market for providing with quality. So when we say quality on time, how does this influence the development of luxury real estate? Like, let's say being detail oriented and being not compromising in quality and everything. So how do you all maintain this tag, quality on time? Because a lot of developers, something delays happen, something happens, they're not able to launch the development on time. So how do you all manage it?
I would say, so our tagline also has been with you always, sort of a customer assurance. And that comes from a very innate belief that my grandfather has always, sort of bestowed down upon us, is that you are thinking of this from a business perspective, which is fair. But for a customer, initially, at least for first-time home buyers, this is the largest single purchase that they're making. And this can make or break their life. So he said, once in a while, you should step out of your business mindset, meet your customers, and actually understand that today, if you were buying a home and somebody betrayed your trust, it's disruptive to your life as a human being.
Lifetime savings.
Absolutely. So that is something that we hold as a core value principle for us, knowing how important it is that customers making the decision. And touch wood, what Dad and Dada have managed to do in the last few years is deliver on time as promised. Of course, there are some ups and downs given the nature of the industry, but there's not been, any project where we've not been able to meet customer expectations. Like you said, it comes with obviously meticulous planning, understanding the market and not being too eager to launch before, and now RERA obviously helps us. So, we only hit the market when we're ready and we have visibility, because also customers are intelligent and they only want to go with, we're seeing a trend where customers are actually preferring and they're willing to even pay slightly higher for branded developers, because they know not only will we spend more money to have quality checks in place, we will make sure that the material that we're procuring, even if it's a higher cost to us, will be of the highest quality. Even the types of contractors that we're sort of appointing in our projects, we make sure that their checks and balances are very strong. We have third-party sort of quality consultants that not only do audit checks, but check every single flat before we give it to customer delivery. And even before that, we have 3-4 checks on, our RCC finishes, our internal finishes, because the philosophy is generally, even if you make say 1 rupee less of profit on this project, the goodwill that a customer will create of having a home that he's happy in, he'll go and tell 5 of his friends, being like, this has actually been a phenomenal experience for us. And the reverse is also true. If it goes badly, then you sort of bear the exactly.
And when we talk about you take care of what people and environment and everything, these days everybody is trying to move a little environment friendly.
Yeah.
We are having developers who are trying to incorporate things in their developments that coordinate with sustainability and eco-friendly. So what is your group trying to incorporate to hold this matter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely super important a topic, especially, we live in Bombay and we see the impact of the pollution. It impacts our health and nobody wants that, at a certain point, your lifestyle doesn't get any better because of sort of the pollution and the environment we're in. So I think as promoters, we're extremely conscious of that. It's a difficult trade-off because there is a cost trade-off and acceptance in the market. But for all our projects in the recent past, we're making sure that we are green certified. We actually work with the IGBC agencies pre-development. So we involve them in the designing process, and whatever changes we think, we can make to get to a gold certification, silver certification, and even higher, we make sure they're part of the planning process. So again, it adds to cost, but we think it's worth it because one is customers also value sustainable projects, but also we're doing our duty to our country and to our city as people who in positions of privilege. So the changes, will come in sort of MEP design, the type of structures that we use. So if your structure quality is good, you consume less material. If your MEP design is good, again, you're able to recycle more sewage waste. Your water wastage is lower. Your glass consumption becomes lower. So all these things help us in becoming as green as we can in a construction-based sector.
So now, the demand for luxury is growing, like luxury real estate. People's spending capacity has increased, especially after COVID, people want big spaces. They want larger homes, they want balconies, they want everything. So are you all incorporating in your coming developments that you're considering a bigger carpet area with a lot of ventilation and all of that? So are any developments coming in that you have changed it as per the market trends are going up in the luxury?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Even across our projects, we're seeing an appetite for, one is larger configurations. So people are moving, say, from a 1-bed to a 2-bed. But within the same configuration, also we're seeing an appetite for a larger home. So the average size of a 2-bed for us has gone up, and an average size for a 3-bed for us has gone up. So maybe a few years ago, where our portfolio mix would have been more skewed towards, say, 50% greater than, 50% of portfolio is sort of assigned to smaller units, 1 and 2 beds. Today we have more than 50% assigned to 3 and 4 beds. And especially keeping this trend of large open spaces because people are spending more time at home. And also the point that you made on decks. So every single project now that we're doing, we're seeing a huge consumer appetite for large decks. People want wraparound balconies. And we found that in recent past, people want to host. So hosting in
house
luxury
have become a thing.
Exactly, and that deck gives you that additional feel. So keeping this philosophy in mind, we have a new project coming up in Worli, which has not been launched yet. So I'm not but I just want to give you a brief about that. The few things that we're seeing people get attracted to or feelers for is that there's very few large layouts left in South Bombay. So people want large layouts where they have open space and incredible amenities so that they can come home and actually use their free time to play pickle, to play paddle, to sort of run around a large, 4-5 acre campus. And even in their homes, initially we had gone for, say 2,500 square feet homes, but we're seeing a demand for even larger, like people want to do jodis, and we're seeing it actually makes sense to design 5,000 square feet homes. Because, people are upgrading their lifestyle. They want opens and they're willing to pay.
Capacity of, the cap has gone really higher.
Absolutely.
They want luxury. I think everybody has slowly, it's not a trend. I think it's here to stay. Everybody wants to be.
100%.
Especially like you spoke about, people want to play sports and everything. It comes to amenities actually.
Correct.
Especially in a city like Bombay, I think because of the traffic, like I don't want to get out of my building, go to the gym.
100%.
I don't want to get out to go to a tennis court. Like if I'm getting everything
Yes,
in a building.
yes, yeah.
Which I think also developers are moving towards. They're trying to give as many amenities as possible.
Yeah.
So when it comes to amenities, which ones do you think are the non-negotiable? So let's say if there's not a tennis court because space crunch is there, which are the ones that should be there? Like no matter what, these amenities should be provided.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. I think then I would say the basics. Like people want basics in terms of sports, gym, lounge, banquet area, swimming pool. I feel like the hygiene, if we're really space constrained, but like I say, like our philosophy, the way we think about amenities is we try to break it up into different zones. So we have and we're going to launch this concept of Club Oasis, which is centered around targeting these 4 zones, which is an active zone, a wellness zone, a social zone, and what's the fourth one? Education kind of zone. So within each zone, we're like on a sports zone for this new projects, we're making sure that the new trend of say pickle courts, paddle courts, they're incorporated. We're making sure we have, an outdoor swimming pool also where people can practice, compete. But we're also having a wellness zone where we have an indoor swimming pool. We have hydrotherapy, different types of, heated pools. So people can relax. So whatever it is that you like doing after work. So me personally, I love playing sports. So like for me, I unwind by going, we'll play pickleball or paddle at Bay Club, etc. But my mom, for example, enjoys to unwind by engaging in wellness. So these 4 zones, the thought is that every member in the family finds their own zone. So kids have their own zone, sort of middle parents people at my age have their own zone, and everybody falls in these buckets. So for that, we're getting a lot of traction, and we're coining a term of Club Oasis so that it's a standardized format across our large format developments, where we have like more than 200-300 families, so that we capture all these amenities into that project.
I think people are liking it. People want everything in their building. They don't want to step out.
And traffic is so much.
Especially with the work from home culture, because a lot of people are working from home. Hence the space that we want a bigger home office. We want everything in that. So I think, especially in Mumbai, it's very challenging because of the space crunch. Because if you see in Bandra, we don't have any sort of development that offers these amenities. Maybe a gym, but I think that's about it.
And I think what you're saying to that is large layouts, right? A lot of the layouts today that you'll get in, say, Bandra also and South Bombay also are limited format layouts, as in the base land area is small. So like I was saying in Worli, that we're coming up with a larger layout, like a 4-5 acres in Worli. There's a lot of appetite for that because people have the money, but they want to upgrade to a lifestyle property. And only larger layouts are able to sort of command that premium.
So you all are also into commercials, like let's speak about the R City Mall. What is your favorite? Do you like doing residential more or commercial more?
That's I honestly enjoy them both equally, I would say. Like I think it's a different set of problems to solve. On the development side, I do think retail and commercial is more fun when it comes to say property management, leasing, event management. So it requires a lot of more active management, whereas the resi business, when you think about it, is the development stage is challenging, but once you hand over to the customer after a few years, then we step back from the project. So from creating like what I was saying earlier, like a legacy, it's nice to have our city. We finished one of our largest commercial buildings recently called R Square in Andheri, which has gotten tremendous response. And it's something that we'll hold in the family for quite some time. So it becomes a prime asset that again, the pride factor comes in and you see that you've created value. So that's...
Okay. So Saurabh, Mumbai is facing a significant need of affordable housing in the luxury sector. There's a surge for luxury but also they want it to be affordable. So how do you all focus on luxury projects with the city's demand for more accessible housing options?
I think that's a very important point because as you're seeing huge absorption trends in luxury, Worli, South Bombay market, we're actually seeing a very strong, robust end user demand also coming in eastern and western suburbs. So, you know, you go down from Wadala, Kanjurmarg, Mulund, Thane. We have large layout formats in Thane, in central suburbs. Also, where we're seeing very good traction because it's first time end user upgrade. So I would call that, I wouldn't say it's accessible luxury, they're still luxury format products, but you know, below a 5 crore ticket size, which addresses a larger corporate audience. So as these people also choose to upgrade their lifestyle, we're seeing sort of robust demand in this ticket size of say between 2 to 5 crores. Yeah. And then of course, I think as you said, more affordable is like, I would think of say first time home buyers, where in Thane market, which is, I would, you know, we think of it as a larger volume play for us. But again, there's robust demand. What we're seeing is as people are seeing some amount of salary growth and they're investing money in stock markets, as they're seeing their wealth increase in stock markets, one of the first decisions they want to take for their family is to upgrade their family's lifestyle. So they're living in standalone properties or they're living in joint families in smaller houses, whereas the families are growing, it's becoming difficult to sort of accommodate everyone's needs and requirements. And so we're seeing them take that step that, okay, as my salary's gone up, now I can, you know, sort of make the EMI payments quite easily. I'm going to make this decision to actually buy a home. So people are no longer waiting and saying, I'll buy it in few years, They're saying, no, okay, I've made the money now. I want to upgrade my lifestyle and let's go and make this transaction. So in that affordable below say 1 crore segment also we're seeing traction, but also in the mid luxury segment in eastern suburbs, there's a lot of robust demand.
I think people's mindset changed after COVID that let's do whatever we want to. I'm not going to wait 10 years to buy that property. I want it now. So I think the mindset switch has clicked from that.
I think it's a positive sentiment in general. Also, overall economy is doing robust. So as people see gains on the equity portfolios, some of those will translate to real estate also. So that's, you know, real estate usually has a little bit of lag to the equity markets, but I think this time it's sort of going hand in hand.
Now that you've talked about stocks and real estate, what do you think is better, investment in stocks or real estate? We had guests previously who said that their clients are telling them that we're taking out money from the stocks and we're putting it in the real estate industry because of the growth and everything.
I think that's a great decision by the clients.
Because so there's always a debate, where should you invest? What do you think? Where would you invest, stocks or real estate?
I'm obviously biased so in this question. But if I were to give like a very genuine answer, I think I look at it as a diversified portfolio. So I would never say put all your money in real estate or put all your money in stocks. But I think real estate in well-defined cities, like large cities, where you know demand is robust and will continue to be over the next several years. Because, you know, with MMR also, if you take, for example, there's a high desire for people to move into MMR from other cities. So we're seeing good migration demand that comes in. We're also seeing people within MMR grow richer. So on average, Maharashtra and MMR on a per capita basis is significantly richer. So the desire to live in larger homes will always exist. And secondly, there's only that much supply of new land available in the South Bombay MMR region. So I think if you look at a long-term horizon, like if you look at in the 15-20 years, land prices and home prices have gone through, have really tremendously increased, you know, like 8-10% CAGR, plus you get rental yield. Even though it's low in India, you get 2-3%, but you have strong appreciation to back it up. So yeah, my friends and I often have this debate, but I'm actually still very positive that I think in a long-term horizon, illiquid capital, real estate is a good bet. And the one thing people don't factor in is it also adds utility. So you can have a bond, like for example, if you think of bond as a fixed investment asset, you can't use a bond. But with the real estate asset, it's appreciating, I'm getting rental income, but I can also live in it. So that value that you get just from a financial perspective is quite, I think, very robust. And of course, security. You have a home.
Okay, so Saurabh, how do you think the commercial landscape in Mumbai has changed with the malls? Let's talk about retail. How are we picking up anything from the Western culture, or people are still enjoying going to the malls? What is the future of the retail commercial real estate in Bombay?
No, I think like you said, we definitely see some Western trends or rather the Western landscape is sort of similar to the Indian landscape. I was going to give you this example. In the US, for example, there's a metric of say almost there's 20 square feet of retail built already per person, whereas in India it's only 0.2. So whereas in the US there's a supply glut, in India there's actually a supply shortage of high quality grade A retail assets. And that's why we're seeing a lot of robust demand. So our prime asset that we have, our city mall, almost gets around 22 to 25,000 footfalls on a single day. And when we speak to customers, we get the sense that if we want to take our family out for an outing on a Sunday, we don't have access to so many large open spaces. We don't have like that many large parks that you can just go and sit and have a picnic. So people actually come to malls to make a full day out of it. They'll shop, they'll eat, they'll watch a movie. It's a way for people to spend time together in a beautiful environment. And for that reason, I think physical retail, especially in dense cities, will always remain strong. So if you have a good location surrounded by a primarily residential catchment, we'll see people, we'll continue to see footfalls come in. Even the online, and
that
especially
was going to
with
be my next question.
Especially with quick commerce, people are ordering a lot of things online and it's getting delivered in 10 minutes. For larger shopping decisions, like I want to go out for shopping, and for larger purchase, like online you'll buy 2 things, but when people come to the mall, they'll buy 8-10 things because they're out there, they're actually
Visually
seeing
available.
So you'll buy a tie, you'll also see a sock, but online that often doesn't translate.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because e-commerce is racing like anything. Every brand that you speak of maybe not physically be present in the store, but it is available online.
Correct.
But like you said, I think that's the problem. Online, I don't want to search for every product and then look at it and see variations. Rather go, because we're so used to luxury now, I want to go to the store. I want the person to show me everything so that it's easy for me to pick it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then the trial issue, I think we see podcasts where Myntra people come and they're like, half of our money goes in return.
Correct.
Like people return stuff like left, right and center. So I think the issue with the fitting, how it is looking and everything also were the physical. But how was the malls doing, especially at COVID time, when I think y'all might have had a great loss because a lot of people did.
Correct.
And I think that's where e-commerce picked up more. Because people were not allowed to step out.
No, you're right. I think COVID was definitely a tough time as a mall owner because, we still had to pay interest payments, but our lessees, like the shops and the retailers, were not able to pay us any rent. So we were having massive cash outflows, and it was just, if COVID had continued for several years more, we would have been in a very different position. But actually we had the foresight, we said, why don't we take this downtime where there were no footfalls in the mall to actually upgrade the mall. So we renovated all the flooring, the facade, the interiors, look and feel. We brought in new stores. We told stores also, why don't you also renovate? So when we opened back up after COVID, we actually saw a tremendous uptick. So in the last few years, we've seen an increase in footfalls and we've seen an increase in spend per footfall. So not only are we attracting more people to our city, we're also attracting the right kind of people to our city. So, that was an investment decision that actually ended up making a lot of sense.
So it was a good decision.
Yeah, I hope so.
So let's say for people who are looking to invest in commercial real estate, what are the things that they should prioritize? Let's say location, size, or future growth potential. So like, for example, what's the next best place in Mumbai for commercial investment?
Are you saying for retail or for office?
Or let's say office. Let's talk about office. We spoke about retail.
So I think office, where we're seeing, like BKC is obviously one pocket, but at some point it's also become very saturated. The traffic is a nightmare.
When you want to go back home, it's unbearable.
Like every time I'm coming through BKC, I'm just like, why am I here right now? It's just criminally difficult to get out. So people are actually looking for an option too. Where we're seeing demand fall into is western suburbs, where it is an office belt. You're on the Western Express Highway, easy to get to, and also robust companies moving sort of their second headquarters in that area. I think as that develops, we'll also see some movement happen as west and east connection improves with metro lines coming in, more road infrastructure coming in. They're building those tunnels also under Sanjay Gandhi National Park.
Yeah.
We'll see some latent demand also move to the eastern, central and eastern suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be a good opportunity to
exactly.
have a
So
real
grade A assets, I think people will still have, people are willing to, because now for employees to come back into work, you need to have a good experience for them.
Yes.
Otherwise, employees are also like, no, I'll just stay at home if you're calling me to a subpar office. So we're seeing a lot of traction, even from startups, to be like, okay, we want space in a grade A building with a lot of good amenities, with some retail supported at the bottom. Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody has tasted bad.
Yeah. So now nobody can let it go.
Yes. Correct. Perks. We want the advantages. If I'm sitting in office, I need a break. I'll go play ball. I want that. So everybody is moving to that.
You're right.
So before we move to the fun rapid fire part, I have a question for the audience specifically. Like if you recently moved and you spoke about how you had to do an in-depth study because of the legacy and everything. So somebody who's new and who's planning to get into the real estate business or enter the market, or let's say commercial, residential, whatever. What are the 3 things or whatever things that helped you? Let's say 3 things that helped you to have a successful path in this industry, which can help other people, or things they should keep in mind before entering the real estate market.
I mean, the things they should keep in mind is it's a cyclical industry, and even though right now things are very exciting, there might come a time, who knows when, where things get challenging. So fortunately, in my lifetime, actually, I've seen most of the good parts, but I know from past experiences of hearing other people's experiences that the tough times were really tough. So I would say one is to have mentors in the industry, not necessarily formal mentors, but people that you can call on for advice to get experience. What I realize is it's a very technical and knowledge-based driven industry. You need to know a lot of nitty-gritties. What does this regulation say? What rule applies to this piece of land? And Bombay is like super complicated, right? You have redevelopment, you have MADA, you have SRA, you have freehold, you have leasehold. The list goes on and on. So I think building your technical know-how is also a super important thing. And the third advice, what I've at least found is, one is a mindset shift, is step out of thinking of real estate as a construction of FSI, but now more we think about it as a building places where we want people to feel happy. So this transition of we'll make 2,000 square feet
and give it
versus we'll make a home
from home.
Exactly. Those are my 3 things I would say.
Okay, let's move to the rapid fire fun round now. So, okay, residential or commercial, which do you prefer?
I would say resi.
Okay. Favorite building you've ever worked on?
It hasn't been launched yet. This is a new project that we have coming up in Walkeshwar.
Okay.
And it is absolutely the most gorgeous design we've made. Actually, our architects that worked on it, they have a global presence. They have 15 firms globally.
Okay.
And this project was awarded the best project that firm has done in the last 5 years globally, competing with Portugal, Miami, UK, etc.
That is great.
Yeah.
Let us know when it comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, favorite name of the Runwal project?
I'll give you my favorite name, as in my favorite code name that we've used so far is codename Bronze.
Okay.
It hasn't been released yet, so you're getting sort of preview information. But we've used that codename to match the facade of the building, and the entire marketing look and feel has come out really strong. So as a group, it just happened. Like somebody saw the building facade and they were like, "Oh, that's bronze." And then we were like, "Yeah, let's just use this as a code name." And it really worked out well.
That's great. So, one word to describe the real estate market in Mumbai?
Roller coaster. I think that's the right word. Yeah.
You never know which turn it's.
Yeah, exactly.
So, morning meetings or late night brainstorming?
Late night brainstorming for creative thinking. For sure, morning meetings for getting stuff done.
Okay. Our city mall, shopping or dining?
I think both. Both, yeah.
A project you're most proud of?
Most proud of, I would actually say this was my first project, so I have an emotional attachment to it. We launched this project called OYT, Runwal Timeless. So that's the one I'm most happy with because it was
Emotionally
my
connected to.
first project in the company.
Yeah.
And so I think I'll always have a soft spot for it.
Yeah, the firsts are always special.
True.
Quality or speed, if you had to pick one?
Impossible to decide. I think quality you cannot compromise. No compromise on quality. Yeah.
Favorite place to unwind in Mumbai?
I think for now at the moment it's Bay Club. Yeah.
Okay. Skyscrapers or green spaces? Let's say what's more important for Mumbai's future?
Tough one. I think it's a hybrid answer, skyscrapers with green spaces, but you need skyscrapers for a dense city,
Yes.
right? Like if you look at Manhattan today, skyscrapers have actually changed the face of the city.
Yes.
So good urban planning with skyscrapers, both are important.
Okay. Favorite architecture style, modern or traditional?
Modern.
Modern.
For sure, modern.
The most challenging part of a project, planning or execution?
Executing according to plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your go-to place for inspiration?
I would say I made a list of notes and quotes at my time at HPS from
What is
different.
the one best quote that you've ever heard that changed your perspective or helps you a lot?
I'm going to goof up the quote, but this was my professor of strategy in my first year, Professor Ashish Nanda. He was actually the dean of IIM Ahmedabad several years ago.
Okay.
And I think this is right, he had the highest CGPA in the history of IIT Bombay. 10.0.
Oh my God.
Ever in the
Yeah.
history of IIT Bombay. And the most humble man I've met in my life. He had a quote which he told us on the last day of class, gave me shivers. But he was like, never, like he said, you guys will go a long way. You've done this, you guys will, be successful. But never forget the hands of the people that dug the wells from which you drink water. And never forget the hands of the people that lit the fire from which you keep your hands warm. So for me, that is a very important quote. So, so many people help
Yes.
you to get where you are.
Exactly.
So when you reach there, never forget them.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's very close to me.
That is actually great. So we are giving you this real estate knowledge. Do not forget us when you use it. Okay. So one piece of advice for aspiring real estate developers.
I think advice for myself also is patience. Some days I feel really frustrated. I'm like, why am I not being able to understand everything? Why can't I be up to speed? But there's just so much breadth of knowledge there. I think for me, patience is the right answer, and take it one step at a time.
The last one is a fun one.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite real estate developer apart from you guys?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I would
Like the
actually...
ones work you enjoy when you look at their buildings, you're like, wow, they're doing a great job. And
That's a good question. I would actually say Oberoi Realty is probably one of my favorite ones. I think they've been very true to their core identity of developing, large scale formats, staying true to quality. So I think that is definitely something I'm like, it's not so easy to always be true to your core values and your cultural beliefs.
you kind of get diverted with the
It's
trends.
very easy to get diverted. So I guess that part I definitely respect. Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with our podcast. It
Awesome.
was very good and great to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure people must have gotten a lot out of it. So thank you so much for making it and giving us the time to have this chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking along for the whole episode. I hope you get to learn a lot from this episode, and also share it with as many people as you can so that we can improve our content for you. You are everything to us. So please hit the bell icon, subscribe to our channel, follow our channel, like our channel, share it everywhere, and we'll see you next time.